Hello, 7th graders. Today we're going to be talking more about multi-step equations, but this time I will be asking you, is there one, zero, or infinitely many solutions to these problems or to these equations that we're going to be working with? So let's take a look. So our objective for today is I will be able to determine if an equation has one, zero, or infinitely many solutions. Okay, so one example, one type of problem, or one type of answer that could be for these expressions or these equations is one solution. And one solution, what that's going to look like is when the answer is in the form x is equal to a number. So let's take a look at some examples, because as soon as you see these examples, I'm sure that will make a lot more sense to you. So example number 1 is 3x minus 9 is equal to 2x minus 9. Okay, and make sure you're writing this down for sure. And we're going to solve these just like we would any other equation. Just the answers may or may not look a little bit different. So let's take a look. Example number 1. All right, so example number 1 is 3x minus 9 is equal to 2x minus 9. Okay, so our first step is the distribute if needed. Well, in this case, we don't need to distribute. Step 2, combine like terms. Well, once again, in this case, we don't need to do those combining like terms, so we are going to be skipping that step. Step 2, get the variables and the constants on one side. Okay, so let's take a look. Let's move the variables over first, just because sometimes that's easier. So let's move minus 2x. Doesn't matter which one you do. I just like to work with positives. So minus 2x on both sides, because it's a positive 2x on this side, so we got to subtract 2x on both sides to get it to the other side. So 3x minus 2x is just x minus 9 is equal to negative 9. Okay, now we got to move this negative 9 over to this side. So we have the constants on this side. So to get that over there, we have a negative 9, so we have to add 9 on both sides. So we have x is equal to 0. Now in this solution, this is what we've been seeing a lot of. Just x is equal to a number. In this case, x is equal to 0. Okay, now the next step, just to check our work, to make sure that we're doing it right, we need to plug the 0 into this equation. So we get 3 times 0 minus 9 is equal to 2 times 0 minus 9. Okay, so 3 times 0 is 0, 0 minus 9. 2 times 0 is also 0, 0 minus 9. 0 minus 9 is negative 9 is equal to negative 9. Since these are the same, we're doing good. These check out. Perfect. We can move on. This is the correct answer. X is equal to 0. That x can only equal 0. 0 is the only number that it will work on. Okay, let's take a look at example number 2. Okay, example number 2, step 1, distributive property. So 2 times 2x is 4x. 2 times 5 is 10, positive 10, so it's a plus. Then bring it down, plus 10 equals. Now let's do the same thing on this side. Negative 7 times positive 4 is negative 28. Minus, because negative 7 times x is negative 7x, and then minus 7. Okay, step 2 is to combine like terms if there are any. Well, in this case, there definitely are. So let's take a look at this side of the equation. We have 4x plus 10 plus 10. Well, 4x is the only x on that side, and we're going to add these two 10s together. 10 plus 10 is 20. Okay, then we're going to do the same thing on this side. So negative 28 minus 7, we're going to get a negative 35, and we're going to bring that minus 7x right down. Okay, next step, we're going to move these x's over to get these variables on the same side. Once again, I like to work with positive numbers, so I'm going to move this negative 7 over to the left side. So to get rid of the negative, we have to add plus 7x to both sides. So we have 4 plus 7, we have 11x, and then bring it on down. Plus 20 is equal to negative 35. Okay, now we got to move the same thing to get that constant on the right side. We're going to subtract 20 from each side. So we have 11x is equal to negative 55. Okay, to get that x all by itself or to isolate the variable, we're going to divide by 11 on both sides. So we're going to get x is equal to negative 5. Okay, go ahead and pause this video and check your work. Type in fill in the blanks for the x up here. Does it work? Does both sides of the equation equal the same number when we plug in 5? Okay, so when you check the video, you should have gotten 0 equals 0, or check the equation rather, not the video, 0 equals 0. That does work, so negative 5 is the only answer. There's only one solution to this problem. Okay, our next possibility is no solution, and just like the opposite, exact opposite of what we just did, a no solution is when the solution of the equation does not come out equal. Alright, so let me show you what these are going to look like. Okay, so example 1, 4x plus 12 equals 4x plus 15. Okay, so 4x plus 12 is equal to 4x plus 15. Okay, so let's first move the variables over. So since they're the same, it doesn't matter which one we do, so we're going to subtract 4x from both sides. When we subtract 4x from both sides, it just cancels them out. So we get 12 is equal to 15. Well, does 12 equal 15? No, it's not true. And because it's untrue, this is an untrue statement, that means that there are no solutions. So there's no solutions. It's not true. Okay, let's take a look at number 2. Okay, first we're going to distribute. So negative 2 times x is negative 2x. Times negative 2 times positive 5 is equal to negative 10, so minus 10 is equal to, and this side we don't have to distribute, so we're just going to bring it right on down. Okay, next step, we're going to combine our like terms. So on the left side of the equation, there's no like terms. This side we do negative 6x plus 4x, which is equal to negative 2x, and we're adding 5 to that. Okay, now we are going to put the variables on one side, so let's add 2x to both sides. That cancels these out, so we get negative 10 is equal to positive 5. And because that is not true, there are no solutions. Okay, we're going to talk about how we can check. So with this one, you can't check because it's untrue. Okay, it's untrue. We can't check this one. Last but not least, we're going to be talking about infinitely many solutions. So this is going to look a little bit different than what we're used to. Okay, so far we've talked about one solution is x equal to a number, no solutions where they don't equal to each other. Infinitely many means that it doesn't matter what number you pick, it's going to equal the same number. So let's take a look. Example 1, 9x minus 4x plus 15 is equal to 5x plus 15. So the first step for this one would simply be combining like terms. So we have 5x, so 9x minus 4x is equal to 5x plus 15 is equal to 5x plus 15. Okay, and some of you might notice these are the same, and that's kind of a key thing that we're going to notice here. But let's just keep going to see how that figures out. So we're going to subtract 5x from both sides. That cancels both of these out, so we're going to get 15 is equal to 15. Okay, as you can see, this is the same number. And if you want to take a second and check your work, you can plug in any number to this equation and it's going to be equal. That's how we know that it's going to be infinitely many. So let's take an easy number. Let's take 0. So 9 times 0 is 0, minus 0, plus 15. Well, that's 15. Okay, so 15 on this side, and then 5 times 0 is 0 plus 15, so it's 15 equals 15. It's the same number. Okay, you could do the same thing with 1, or 10, or a half. Any of those numbers you can plug in, and it's going to equal the same number. So that's what it means, infinitely many solutions. So many solutions. Okay, let's look at example number 2. Okay, so example number 2, it looks like it got cut off a little. Oh no, it didn't get cut off, it just has a weird space in between. So we have negative 3 times x minus 1, or times the difference of x minus 1, is equal to negative 5x plus 2x plus 3. I'm sorry about that space, don't let that be confused. Just write it right up next to it like you would. Okay, so first we're going to distribute negative 3x, so negative 3 times x is negative 3x, and then negative 3 times negative 1, which is positive 3, which you're adding 3. Is equal to, we're just bringing it right on down, plus 3. Okay, next thing we're going to combine like terms. Well, on the left side of the equation, there are no like terms, is equal to negative 5x plus 2x, which is negative 3x plus 3. Okay, we're going to get the variables on one side, so the opposite of negative is positive, so we're adding plus 3x to both sides. These cancel out for both of these, so we have 3 is equal to 3. Okay, so because they're equal to, and you can plug in any number up here that you would get an equal solution, we would say that there are infinitely many solutions. Sometimes you might see somebody say the infinity sign, the infinitely many number. It doesn't matter what number you choose, you're going to have an equal number, equal equation at the end. Okay? So don't forget to ask your 2 questions about this video, and we will be doing much more practice with this when you come back to class. So have a great night, and I will see you tomorrow or whenever you watch this video. See you later.